In the deep darkness where sunlight has never touched, there exists a race born only to do one thing: eat your brain. They once ruled across the multiverse, turning other races into slaves and spreading the most terrifying nightmare in history. But how could such a creature build such a dreadful empire, and what caused its collapse? If you want to know the origin of the Mind Flayer, why they are so cruel, and why they remain a threat even today, watch until the end of this video. Before even the gods set foot on this world, the Mind Flayers were already there. Legends say they came from a future apocalypse where humanity had vanished and the Illithid ruled the universe. They traveled back through time, returned to the past, and expanded their psychic empire across the worlds. Through absolute psionic power, able to bend will and control every race, they quickly built the Illithid empire, stretching across the multiverse, and it was that absolute dominance that created their greatest enemy. At their most glorious age, the Illithid Empire spanned the multiverse. Their colossal flying cities drifted through the void, linking worlds with psychic gates. Billions of beings, elves, dwarves, humans, were chained in silence, their wills crushed, reduced to obedient puppets serving their Illithid masters. This was not mere rule, it was absolute domination of the mind, where every thought of rebellion was erased at its source. To understand why every creature fears the Mind Flayer, you only need to look at their face. No nose, no mouth, just a slick purple mass of flesh, with 4 long tentacles writhing like hunting snakes. Their milky white eyes do not meet yours to communicate, but to search for the brain behind your skull. Cloaked in darkness, they drift through damp corridors like ghosts, and you only realize their presence when the whispers in your head become too loud to ignore. In the eyes of the Mind Flayer, the world has no friends, only food and tools. They are cold, calculating, without humanity. Everything serves the elder brain, the massive intellect that commands the entire Illithid community. Their weapon is not sword or spear, but your mind. A single psionic wave, mind blast, is enough to paralyze entire groups of warriors, and when you collapse, 4 tentacles slowly coil around your skull, pierce bone, and suck out the brain, all in chilling silence. That cruelty ignited the greatest uprising in history. When the legendary warrior Gith witnessed her family's brains devoured before her eyes, she swore to destroy the Illithid. That vow spread everywhere. Elves, dwarves, even dragons joined. They no longer fought to survive, but to end the nightmare that had lasted for centuries. The war raged for centuries. The sky turned red with fire as the flying cities of the Mind Flayers fell like meteors. On the battlefield, Githyanki warriors charged forward with furious roars, while the Mind Flayers stood motionless, their milky eyes glowing like cold fire. Then Mind Blast erupted, an invisible wave of psychic force sweeping across the battlefield. The sound didn't echo outside, but exploded inside the minds of hundreds of warriors, making them collapse like puppets with cut strings, blood pouring from their noses and ears. In that moment of paralysis, the purple tentacles of the Mind Flayer wrapped around their heads, pierced the skulls, and sucked out the brains in muffled screams. The screams blended with thunder and magic, turning the battlefield into a living hell. But the Gith army did not retreat. Silver swords cleaved tentacles, magic shattered psionic walls. Step by bloody step, they pushed deep into the heart of the empire, where the elder brain awaited. In the enormous chamber, the elder brain floated in a cold pool of fluid, each pulse a psychic blade cutting through the minds of the Gith warriors. But when the last defense collapsed, Gith struck. The silver sword pierced straight through the pulsating mass of brain matter. A telepathic scream erupted. Mind Flayers simultaneously clutched their heads and collapsed. The flying city shook violently, tilting, then plummeted into the abyss of fire, exploding in blood and rubble. The Illithid Empire collapsed. In one horrifying instant, the war was over. The surviving Mind Flayers retreated into the Underdark, eternal darkness. There, they remained silent, but never disappeared. In the dark, the elder brain still whispered, nurturing a promise. The day of revenge will come. And if one day, in the silent darkness, you hear a whisper echoing inside your head, what will you do? Leave a comment. I want to know what you would do if this nightmare came for you. If the story of the Mind Flayer made you shiver, hit like so I know you survived this journey. And if you want to discover more terrifying legends lurking in the dark, subscribe and turn on the bell. This is only part of the nightmare. The real horror is still coming.